Another longish day, 340 miles or thereabouts. Last night we drove into Tudela, parked up and went to find the main square. There were literally hundreds of people, mostly families, from grand down to the youngest baby, sitting outside the many bars in the square. We were looking for a meal, but no, meals don't start until 8 o'clock, so we joined them in having a drink. Come 8 o'clock, most of the families had drifted away, to be replaced by those in search of a meal. It seemed to be a very civilized activity. Meet your friends, the children meet their friends and play together. Wonderful. We had a hotel breakfast, as it was going to be quite a time before we were likely to find a suitable place to stop for a late morning coffee and hot chocolate break. Superb breakfast, freshly squeezed orange juice. You did it yourself with this wondrous juicing machine. Choose your oranges and feed them in down the chute, and hey presto, the freshest juice possible. Definitely a hotel to think about returning to one day. The first half of the journey was going to pass through a very sparsely populated part of the Spanish Central Plateau, so we decided to make sure of everything and fuel up the car for the journey. Wrong. Supermarkets and petrol stations don't seem to open before 9 o'clock or even later. No 24-hour card petrol or gasol pumps in Tudela either. After doing a lap of the town, we found a Repsol garage, pumps on the pavement and the attendants doing a very brisk business. Thought we were going to have to pay through the nose for the fuel, but it turned out to be very, very reasonable. We left Tudela on the A68, the Autovia del Ebro, which ran parallel to the Autopista, the toll road. The A68 came abruptly to an end, and we were back onto the national N232, which Jim remembers from his journeys to Spain 40 plus years ago. We join the Autopista Vasco-Aragonesa toll road and head towards Zaragoza. Once again, as we approached Zaragoza, we didn't do it enough keep left or keep right, and we ended up going the wrong way. Marianne, our sat-nav, soon had us heading back in the right direction. The first part of the Zaragoza ring road is the A2, the Autovia del Nordeste, which runs from Madrid to Barcelona. However, we soon turn off onto the Cuarto Cinturón de Zaragoza. Pardon the pronunciation. Yes, it's the ring road. We leave the ring road and join the A23 Autovia Mudajar for a toll-free ride to the Mediterranean coast. We expect the traffic to be very light after we leave the vicinity of Zaragoza until we descend from the central plain. We pass close to Cariñena, which is a well-known wine-growing area of Spain, and in fact one of our favourite Spanish wines, El Bombero, is produced here. We now climb over a range of hills to reach the central plain. The part of the central plain we are travelling over is between 3,000 and 3,500 feet above sea level, and you can literally see for miles. We passed near to Calamocho, one of the small towns or large villages that are dotted across the landscape. Just past Monreal del Campo are the services. This involves a short drive from the autovia, but we arrive at a large service area with seemingly acres, or perhaps it should be hectares, of car park. We went into the restaurant for drinks, etc., and it must be big enough to seat several hundred. Where is everybody? The place is fully staffed, but only a handful of customers. Perhaps we are a bit early for the coach trade. We nearly had a nasty accident when Jim spilt some scalding hot coffee and scalded his hand. With quick thinking and a cold water poultice made from loo paper saved the day. Teruel is the largest habitation that we pass on the A23. It is quite isolated, but is a well-respected Spanish university town. We start to descend from this high plain and will soon arrive at much greener and more lush countryside as we join the river valleys towards the Mediterranean. Segorbe is possibly the largest town on this section of the A23. The A23 terminates at Sagunto, just about within sight of the Mediterranean. We now join the A7, the Autovia del Mediterraneo, for the trek around Valencia. The A7 just about stays within sight of Valencia, but does not get close to it. We stopped for a late lunch at the Area de Servicio de Torrent Picassent. Quite pleasant, but a bit bland and characterless. The food, etc. was perfectly acceptable though. After leaving the Valencia area, the road becomes the toll road, the AP7, and we shall stay on this until we get to Benidorm. Gandia is arguably the northernmost resort of the Costa Blanca. We climb up to Benissa through the gorges before commencing the long descent past Calpe and through the tunnels before reaching Altea, very nearly down at sea level. We leave the AP7 and pass through the last péage of the journey before hitting the streets of Benidorm. We reached our destination, the dynastic hotel, which is situated in the Rincon de Luith area. Thankfully, the gate to the underground car park is open, and we can go down into the bowels of the hotel and park the car before checking in. Today has been very enjoyable. Once again, very little traffic. In fact, the whole journey from Benidorm has been very enjoyable. In future, though, I think I shall insist on keeping the daily mileage to under 300 miles. Getting too much in a day for an old lady.